Alright guys, so I made a video prior to this, a few videos back, where I harvested amaranth, and so this is the final product of that harvest. I just had two roughly 10 to 12 foot rows of amaranth. So you can see it produces quite a bit. The thing about amaranth, if you watched the last video, it is an ancient grain. It's actually not a grain, it's actually a seed, but it's called an ancient grain, and it has sort of the same nutrient profile, except the difference with amaranth is it's way higher. It has 3 times the protein of wheat, and it has substantially more nutrients. And the cool thing about it is when you make sort of like a porridge, which we're going to be doing in this video today, it's not like oatmeal where it gets mushy. If you don't like mushy oatmeal, amaranth might be something that you might enjoy because it has kind of a pop to it no matter what you do. Now, we cannot digest amaranth alone. It's much like if you would eat, a bean or rice that was uncooked. It would just go through our digestive system and it would come out exactly the same way. Amaranth is the same way. So you have to cook it, and there's a couple methods that I know of to cook it. And the first one is the one that I've been doing a lot of, and that's just basically making a porridge. The other way is you can actually pop it, much like popcorn. And I will be doing a video on the process of that as well later on. This is kind of, if you want to make some porridge in the morning, this can also be used. I've used it in smoothies, much like I would oatmeal. So you just cook it up, you got your porridge, and then you just add it with some berries, some milk, and I'll put like protein powder in it, and basically anything you want, and you grind it up and you make yourself a very, very nutritious smoothie. Like I said, this stuff's high in protein. Look up the all the benefits of amaranth. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you all the good things it does. But do your own research, look this stuff up, it's very good. And like I said earlier, it was banned by the conquistadors when they were trying to convert pagans to Catholicism, because amaranth is closely linked to a lot of pagan rituals, so they were kind of scared of it. It was very similar to the Catholic communion, and so they didn't want them to continue that same ritual, and so they banned it in many, many places. And so it kind of disappeared and went by the wayside, but let's bring it back because this is very good stuff and there's no reason to not eat it. It's delicious and it's very nutritious. When I make this, I do everything in a 1-to-3 ratio. Typically, I will, for a couple people, I will do 1.5 cups of water, which I have right here, and then I'll do a 1/2 cup of amaranth seed. So, doesn't need to be exact, but that's about where we want it. So I'll just pour my 1.5 cups of water in there and my 1/2 cup of seed. So now we're going to get it on the oven. We're going to get it cooking. We're going to bring it to a boil. And then after it's boiled, we're going to stir it that time as well. We don't want the bottom to burn. Once it's boiled, we can then let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until when it's done, most of the water is sort of evaporated out and it's just kind of this porridge-like consistency. And then from that point on, you can add whatever you want to it. You can add, maple syrup or some honey. Local honey is very good in it. Molasses. If you don't like the sweet stuff, you can just eat it like it is. Add some salt, pepper, whatever kind of flavorings you want. It's much like oatmeal. It'll kind of just take on whatever seasoning you put in it. And then, like I said earlier, you can add it to smoothies as well and give that smoothie a little bit of thickness and a little bit more up the protein in it. Throw fruit in it. You just kind of whatever, make it your own. Let's get this on the stove and get this cooking. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so we got a nice boil going here. Now I'm just going to turn that down. And so I'm just going to leave that now for 15 to 25 minutes. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but let's cover that up. While I was waiting for that, I'm going to be cutting up these PawPaws because I'm going to be making a smoothie from this particular porridge. So these are PawPaws. These are a native fruit here in Missouri. They are very hard to come by because the squirrels and the birds really love them. And so as soon as they basically get ripe, those squirrels are on them. Or you got to be very, very on it and get out in the woods and collect these. So this is a real treat. So these are kind of like bananas and mangoes mixed. They have a custard-like consistency. So it's a pretty cool fruit. It's very similar to like a tropical fruit, and it's our version of tropical fruit here in the Midwest. Very excited to be able to throw that in my smoothie today. Okay guys, so we're pretty much at the consistency that we need. I'm still kind of getting a little bit of water out, but we're real close here. You can see it's a kind of a thick porridge. So from this point on, you let this cool. You can add whatever you want to it, and you can eat it just like that as a porridge. So today I'm going to cool it off just a little bit, and I'm going to eat a little bit of it as porridge. I'm going to share a little with my wife, and then I'm going to add a little bit to my smoothie here with my PawPaws. Try not to waste any of this because I know how hard it is to harvest. That is what your porridge looks like right there. Alright, so for my smoothie, cooled this off to about room temperature. I'm just going to add the rest of it here into my smoothie. Alright guys, so let's do a quick little food review here. A little taste test. I'm certainly no food critic by any means, but I can at least tell you kind of how it tastes. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that. Let's just do the raw taste. So, real bland, and it has a little bit of like a crunch to it. Kind of a satisfying texture, honestly. You go from like oatmeal, it's basically like a mushy paste. This has like a very satisfying crunch to it, but still very easy to eat. And I can tell you that I think pretty much anything that you add to this, it's going to soak up all that flavor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of honey, a little drizzle. And this is just, you know, it says organic, raw, and unfiltered, but if you can get local honey. Our bees all died, unfortunately, so I don't have any honey in stock, and I haven't found a good honey supplier yet. Let's mix this up. Give that a try with a little bit of honey in it. That is really good. I could definitely eat this every day for morning breakfast. High in nutrition, it's good, and it's good for you. And man, yeah, this is good. Okay guys, so we got our amaranth in. We're gonna add our antioxidant fruit blend here. Strawberries, cherries, blueberries, raspberries, and pomegranate. Now you can add either milk, or I'm going to keep it a little lower calorie, and I'm just going to add some water. And then I'll add a touch of Greek yogurt there. Alright guys, so if you watched my video on when I took my beets and I ground them into a powder, so that's what I'm going to be, just to add 1 scoop of this. I try to put this in my smoothie. It's basically tasteless, but it's very, very good for you. So beets are really good for you, really good for, it's almost like a pre-workout. Gives you a good pump. It's very high in antioxidants. God knows what they put in that other store-bought stuff. Okay guys, just gonna blend that up. Get it in a single serve. There we go. Give it a little mix here. Get those seeds down in there. Mixed up. Got a couple of seeds in here, I know, at least. But we're going to keep those seeds because I want to try to plant some of these, make my own little grove of them. So there's my PawPaw seeds, and then I'm just going to scoop the rest of that into my smoothie. So let's scoop this into the smoothie. And of course, PawPaws, they're good for you too. And they're something that not a lot of people get. Lucky enough that I live in an area where they are native. Okay, let's blend that in there now as well. Now we're cooking. All right, our berry, amaranth, PawPaw shake. All right guys, let's give this a little taste test. We got the PawPaws in there. That's better than you can get at any smoothie shop, and I can guarantee you that the ingredients are way healthier for you. Essentially, after it's blended, you don't get that crunch that you do like when you're eating the raw porridge, or not raw, but the baked or boiled porridge from the amaranth. so you don't get the crunch in the smoothie. It just kind of all blends up. But it's essentially tasteless, so it's just there for nutrients and protein. Mostly just taste the fruit. Honestly, I don't really taste the PawPaw either, but the berries are a lot of flavor in that, so it pretty much overbears everything else. Everything else is just there, kind of to add nutrients, kind of to add, you know, protein and yeah, nutrients. And an excellent shake. And you know when you drink something that you know is healthy for you, you can just like taste so much better, and it feels so good. You know, like instantly just know my body is just like absorbing all them nutrients. I don't know, it's probably all in my head, but gosh, that's good. Anyway guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope that I've sparked your interest in Amaranth. Let's bring it back. It's really good for you. Everybody's on this health kick, but I think the only way you're truly going to be healthy is you start getting more back to the land. And if you can't grow this stuff your own, find the farmers that can. Find the farmers that don't spray everything with pesticides and herbicides and fungicides. If I can help it, I'm going to eat stuff that's not been sprayed. Grow it out in my backyard, and I know that I haven't sprayed it myself, and that's good for me. I sleep better at night. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Like this video if it's helped you out any. And again, I'll leave a few links down at the bottom there for Amazon, for the blender, and a few other things if you want to check that out. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next video.